Hi, this is Manpreet Kaur, and you are watching me on Unacademy's YouTube channel. First of all, I would like to welcome all my learners and all my viewers to India's largest learning platform, Unacademy. Let's crack it. So, guys, it's 10 o'clock and it's a Saturday morning. So, I wish you a very good morning, first of all. And over the weekends, the morning seems to be beautiful, isn't it? We all are little bit free from our schools, from our classes, from daily routines, and tomorrow is a Sunday, so it's going to be another beautiful day. I can see Sarika over here. Hi, Sarika. Good morning. Is this your real name, or I guess it's not the real name? In our previous class, also you entered, but the real name is something else, as far as I remember. Okay. So, today we are going to study something very, very interesting. But before that, let me just show you something very interesting. Hmm. What are we going to study? My name is Ayushi. Ayushi, you belong to class 9. Okay. You belong to class 9. Ayushi is one of my favorite name because there is one student of mine. Her name is Ayushi, and she is very nice. So, Ayushi is therefore my favorite name. Not joking, it's seriously. So, Ayushi, I have not seen you in my plus classes. You know the time, right? It's from 2:30 to 3:30. Okay. And suppose if I would recommend you to take the plus subscription. But if you have not taken, okay, then also you can do one thing. What you can do is you can download the Unacademy Learners app and you will get access to, free special classes. Are you aware about that? Do you know that? Yes? Okay. So, to unlock the special classes, what code you have to use? You know that? It's Manpreet 10. I will show you, okay? At that time, my school class is going on. Sarika, my special classes is in the night, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Okay. And in the special classes, I take up the grammar section very nicely. Okay. Kids like you are attending, this is for you only. So, 9 p.m. you can attend, right? Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, Friday, the classes are there. So, you come and attend the special class. And if you feel that it is good, then you can come and join me in the plus classes also. First, you go and see my special classes. Come and attend. Over. Okay. So I'll just show you one more thing. Now, okay, ma'am, I'll attend your session. I'll just show you the code which will help you to unlock the special classes. First of all, let me introduce myself. So, my name is Manpreet Kaur and I have 16 years of experience in teaching and education. Kushi had joined. Hi, Kushi. Good morning. So, I have 16 years of experience in teaching and education, and I have worked with many renowned institutions as a teacher, as a vice principal, and a principal also. And you know what? That I was a founder principal of also of a school, and especially I have been assisting the schools which were newly opened, and I just used to go there and I used to help them to set up the schools. Okay, so this is me, and in this long career in which school? Shamford and Shamrock Group of Schools. It's an international branch of schools. Okay, and the head branch is in Delhi, Rohini. So I used to assist the schools. I got the training over there, and within this long span, of time, I have been working in many of the renowned institutions. Okay, so I'll just show you one thing more. Okay, today we are going to study the fall of Troy, but before that, especially for you, Sarika, if you want to unlock my free special class, you know what? Can you see the code now? Manpreet 10 on your screen in the red box. Can you see it? Manpreet 10, it's capital MANPREET10. This is the code. Use it and you can access to my free classes, okay? Without paying anything. And then if you like it, then you can go ahead and take the plus subscription. My classes is from 2:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. See, Bhavesh has joined. Hi Bhavesh. Good morning. Welcome to the class. So 2:30 to 3:30 is every day, like from Monday to Sunday and from Sunday to Monday. No gap in between. Okay. Every day I'm having the class, and if you have a school class in between, what you can do is you can watch my classes as recorded. Okay. So copy down this code if you want to unlock the special classes. Now I just welcome to all of you to Unacademy's channel, and I suppose that you have subscribed the channel, isn't it? If you are watching this video live or recorded, whatever the case may be, I would suggest you that if you are liking this video, please subscribe the channel. Okay, and hit the bell notification icon so that you do not miss any of the videos posted by Unacademy. And yes, do not forget to share my video because it may help some of the children sitting out there, isn't it? There may be some children who might be in need of this video. So, share with them. Okay, so let us start the class. Bhavesh, you also in standard 9. Bhavesh, Yadav, why I feel that I have seen you previously in my classes. Bhavesh, you have not taken plus subscription, I guess, because I did not see you in plus classes. So why don't you take up special classes if you want? Special classes, so you can take, na? Yes. So take up the special classes and see. It is from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Okay. Take in. You know the timing: Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay. Let us start the chapter now. You took plus. Very good. Then 2:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Every day you are having the class. Don't miss it out, okay? Fall of Troy, Part 1. Epics are long poems that relate the deeds of great national hero or a great national war. They often tell of a nation's early history. They may be composed and sung or recited for many years before they are actually written down. So, in the first paragraph, the writer says, what is epic? Epics are the long poems which relate to some of the actions of our national heroes or great national warriors or something important. And they also tell us about the nation's history, ancient history. And they may be composed and may be sung or may be recited for many years before they were written down. The two famous Sanskrit epics are the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, and the two great epics of European literature written in ancient Greek are the Iliad and the Odyssey. Now, see here, now we all know that in Indian culture we got two Sanskrit epics. What are they? The Ramayana and the Mahabharata. And in the European literature, they got the Iliad and the Odyssey. So, if you are having the book, then Please take a pencil and mark this. Okay, because in the exam also this type of small questions can come. Name any two important literature of Europe. So that time you have to write Iliad and Odyssey. Just as in Indian literature, we go back to stories from the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. So in the literature of Western countries, they go back to Iliad and the Odyssey. Just as children all over India know the names of the stories of Ram and Sita, Yudhishthira and Arjun and Draupadi, so children in the Western countries know the names of Hector, Odysseus, and Achilles and Helen of Troy, the most beautiful women in the world, because of whom the Greek and the Trojans fought for 10 long years. See, these all things are very important. The chapter is going to be really interesting. Why? Because we all know about Draupadi, Arjuna, Yudhishthira. We all know about Ram and Sita. But today they are giving us the opportunity to discuss about something new, which is that we are going to discuss about the Western country. Just like kids in India, they know about this Ram, Sita, Yudhishthir, Arjun, Draupadi, they all know about it. Similarly, children in Western countries, they know the names of Hector, Odysseus, Achilles, and Helen of Troy. Was considered as the most beautiful women in the world. And because of her, such an amazing fact, you see, because of her, the Greek and the Trojan, they fought for 10 long years. Next part. Nobody knows for certain who the author of this early epics is. Means no one knows who was the author of this early epics. Chinmay, good morning. Welcome to the class, Chinmay. Nobody knows for certain who the author of this early epics is. It is thought that they arose and developed with the nation itself and were handed down from singer to singer till perhaps one great poet gave them their final form. So we can see Deepak has also joined. Hi Deepak, good morning. Welcome to the class, guys. So, are you able to all hear me nicely? Is my voice coming to you properly? I'm wearing headphone, trying my level best that you don't get any disturbing noise. Is it okay? So, they are saying that no one knows. Okay, thank you. Thanks for answering. Hi Sneha, welcome to the class. So, no one knows who is the author of this early epics. No one knows who has written, who actually chanted them. But they just passed on from one generation to another generation. People kept on telling the tales from one person to another. Later on, one final singer or the poet you can call gave it the final form. It is believed that the Iliad, see children, this now we are going to enter in a very interesting mode. Okay, it is believed that the Iliad and the Odyssey were composed and recited by a blind poet named Homer, who lived about 900 BCE and who wandered from one Greek city or village to another. Now you have, if you're having the book, please mark it, okay, because the poet named Homer is very important. Please mark it. Homer. Homer lived about 900 BC, so it's a long back, isn't it? It is believed that the Iliad and the Odyssey were composed. So both of this, the Iliad and Odyssey, were composed by whom? It was composed by Homer. Who lived when? Who lived around 900 BCE. And He was blind. Such an amazing thing, isn't it? He was blind and but still he was able to compose such two great epics. He used to wander. Wander means घूमना, एक जगह से दूसरी जगह. He used to wander from one place to another. Now, this wandering singer has been honored through the ages, not only in Greece, but in all Europe, as the father of European poetry. Very, very important. Homer, who is the poet of these two great epics, he was known as the father of European poetry. The Iliad is the story of Ilium or Troy, a rich trading city in Asia Minor, near the narrow sea that leads from Aegean to the Black Sea. It was well situated both for commerce and agriculture. What do you mean by commerce over here? Commerce means trading, earning money, import export, something which will earn you money, okay? Which will help the money circulate. So they are first telling us about Iliad. So very interesting. Iliad is the story of Ilium or Troy. Please mark this one. Hello Anuj, good morning. I welcome you all to the class. So children, if you are having the book and if you are having the pen or pencil, whatever, please mark this important point, okay? Iliad is the story of whom? Ilium or Troy, a rich trading city in Asia Minor near the narrow sea that leads from Aegean to the Black Sea. And this city was well known for commerce and agriculture, means for business purpose and for agriculture. In front of the city was the sea over which sailed the ships of. So in front of the city, just in front means samne. So it means that in front of the city there was a, obviously if there is sea, then the ships will be, sailing around, isn't it, carrying goods and grain. At the back rose the high peak of Mount Ida, from which flowed many rivers and streams. The valley among the hills were well watered and fertile, with corn growing in fertile fields and cattle feeding on rich grass of the meadows, while sheep fed on the slopes of the hills. So, such an enormous and prosperous city it was. See, the in front of the city they say that there was a sea. So naturally, if there is a sea, there will be some ships sailing around, which actually helped in trading. Not only this, their land was also very much fertile, which helped to grow lot of agricultural product. Out of that, they have mentioned corn. It's very clearly written in the chapter that corn used to grow in that fertile fields, and cattle, they are domestic animals, like we say na, cow, buffalo, sheep and goats, see, they all come under domestic animal, isn't it? So these domestic animals, they used to feed on the slopes of the hills. In India also you might have seen some parts of north and some parts of east where there are hilly areas. So you have seen that the hill, if the hill is like this sloping, then you will find that the sheeps, they will, they will feed over. They will feed over here, and they keep on, climbing and getting up, getting down, and you can see them grazing also. So that is what the author is mentioning over here. Round their city, the Trojans had built a strong wall so that no enemy should attack them from the sea. The wall was so broad that people could stand and sit and walk on it. The great gates stood open, and people could go to seashore outside and come in as they pleased. But in time of war, the gates would be closed. And then the city was like a strong fortress, quite safe from all attack, protected by the walls surrounding it, as well as by the hills behind. So now, round their city, the Trojans had built a strong wall. So these people, okay, the citizens of this city, what they did, they built a strong wall all around. Okay, they built a strong wall all around, and this wall actually it was working like a fortress. So suppose if this is a city and if I create a wall all around, then what will happen? If you create a wall all around, then the city is now closed. They only had a gate, and the citizens of that city, they were allowed to go to the seashore and come back as they want. Okay, so here what happened, that these gates actually helped them from saving from the enemy. So suppose if they will not have any type of walls, what will happen? Any enemy can come in the ships and they can attack them, isn't it? But here these people were having a strong wall, and the wall was so wide that people could even sit, or they could even stand on the walls. So at the time of any war or anything, any difficult situation, the gates used to close, and the people and the other all the people of the city, they were all saved from the attack of the enemy. Not only this, they were having the hills behind, like we are having Himalayas, right? So here also they got some hills, and this hill used to act as a what? As a wall. This Troy was a strong city, strongly protected by its walls and strongly defended by its brave soldiers. But all the kings and heroes of Greece had declared war against the Trojans. Now, what happened? So, this city, Troy was a strong city, and this city was now protected by its walls, because no one can enter. No, how you can enter if the walls are so high, they are so thick, they are so strong? How will you enter the city? And the city was prosperous also, because they were doing the trading things, they were earning, because they were it has been said that they were doing the commerce using the seashores, and they already had a good fertile land. So agriculture was also there. It means the city was very prosperous. Now what happened? Some people, although this city was protected by brave soldiers, but some people, maybe they might be jealous of this city, no? It happens. So this is a human nature. So it might have happened to them that some kings and some heroes, some warriors of Greece, what they did, they declared a war against the city. And because Paris, a prince of Troy, had persuaded Helen, wife of a Greek king, Menelaus, to elope with him, he had brought her to Troy. The Greeks wanted to take revenge on Troy for the wrong done to Menelaus. They sailed to Troy and laid siege to the city. The Trojans too fought hard, and the siege continued for 10 long years. See, such a great thing. See, means they have fought for 10 long years. And what happened? See, Troy was the strong city, and it was protected by the walls also and by its brave soldiers also. But some of the kings, they declared the war. They were already in planning for the war, and it was persuaded when the war against the Trojans were persuaded, because Paris, a prince of Troy, had persuaded Helen. So look here, this is very important, and you may please mark it, because you might get confused with it. A prince of Troy. Troy is what? Troy is the city. You remember the Troy, the prosperous city. So Prince of Troy, what he did? had persuaded Helen. So he has taken away Helen. Who is Helen? Helen is the wife of Greek king Manlius. Okay, so there is a Greek king. His name is Manlius, and there is a prince of Troy also. And there is a lady in the story, and her name is Helen. So the prince of Troy, what he did? He persuaded Helen, wife of Greek king Manlius, and he had brought her to Troy. Then this prince of Troy, he brought that lady to Troy. Now this Greeks, naturally they will be angry with this action, right? So the Greeks wanted to take revenge, badla. Okay, the Greeks wanted to take the revenge with the Troy for this wrongdoings, for this misdeeds. Now this, you know that the wife was taken, wife of Menelaus, who is Helen. Helen was taken to Troy. So Helen is where? Helen is in Troy. Who took her away? Prince of Troy. Now what they did, the Greeks sailed to Troy and they set a siege to the city. Means they चारों तरफ से घेर लिया city को. Now these Trojans also, they fought very bravely, and the battle continued for 10 long years. Then what happened? Let us see. And the siege continued for 10 long years. Now, let me take you here. So, just a second, children. So, after that, what happened now? Next part. The only part of his body where he could. Now the fighting went on daily, but the siege did not open. Okay, so they fought very bravely, but the siege did not open. The siege did not open, and finally, what happened? So finally, you can see that the only part of the body where he could be wounded. Still later, Paris himself was killed, also by poisoned arrow. The Trojans were tired of being shut up in the city, and the Greeks were longing to see their homes again. But still, the fighting went on. Okay, so this fighting, it went on and on and on for 10 long years. Okay, and now these Trojans, they were tired of being shut in their city, but the fighting never ended. Okay, the fighting never ended, and it kept on continuing for 10 long years. Even the people of Troy, they wanted that they should be free and they should now come out of the seal. Just imagine the condition. If you are sealed in one place for 10 long years, you will obviously you will be, terrified, and you will be feeling like you are cased somewhere. So naturally you would like to come out, but it couldn't happen for 10 years. And even the people of Greek, they were there and they were fighting for it. So they also wanted to return back to their home, but they couldn't return back. Now, let us see what happened next. At last, Troy was taken, not by force, but by a trick. So now they have taken up Troy. The city of Troy was taken. How? Not by force, but by a trick. It was the cunning Odysseus who thought of a plan to obtain the victory. Victory means, jeet. So at last the Troy was taken, not by force, but by a trick. The cunning Odysseus, cunning, chalak, cunning Odysseus, he thought of a plan. He thought of a plan to obtain the victory. Let us build a great wooden horse, he said, big enough to hold men inside it, and let some of our best fighters hide in the horse. Then let us burn our tents and pretend to sail away in our ships. But instead of sailing away, we will return in the night when the Trojans are asleep. We will attack the city and burn and kill. So now see, they made a nice plan over here. What did the Greek people do? When they saw that nothing is working out and it's been long 10 years and they are not able to free the city, then they thought that not by force but by trick only they can take up the city. So they thought, let us build a great wooden horse. Okay, so we will build a great wooden horse, and it will be so big, the horse will be so big that it will be able to hold our men inside it. Okay, and let some of our best fighters hide in the horse. So what we are going to do? We are going to build a horse, nice wooden horse. Inside that horse, we will hide our best fighters. Okay, and then what we will do? We will burn our tents, and we pretend means act. So we will act as if we have returned back in our ships, that we have already, now we have given up the war and we are returning to our country. But instead of sailing away, but this will only be pretending. Okay, we will only pretend, we will not exactly be doing it. So we'll just pretend to do it, and we will return in the night when the Trojans are asleep. So when the Trojans will be asleep, now see, when they will see, Trojans will see that the Greek people, they have returned back, these people have returned back, then they will be, naturally, they will not be stressed, and they will be thinking now everything is fine, so they will be asleep and they will not be alert also. So we will return in the night when the Trojans are asleep, and what they planned, they will attack the city, burn the city and kill the people. The Greek leaders decided to follow the advice of the wise Odysseus. So, a great horse of wood was made by a skillful engineer, and the greatest heroes, Menelaus, Odysseus himself, and others entered it. The last man to go in being the architect himself, who knew the secret of opening and shutting the entrance. That evening, the Greeks burned their tents and sailed away in their ships. But they did not go very far. Only one man was left behind to persuade the Trojans to drag the horse into their city. Now, what happened? This was a trick. What was the trick? The Greek leaders. Now, this Greek leaders, what did they do? They followed the advice of the Odysseus. Okay, remember this plan was, this plan was in, this whole planning was done by whom? Odysseus. So they built up a nice, great horse of wood. A nice, big horse of wood was made by a skillful engineer. And after that, the greatest heroes, Menelaus himself. You remember Menelaus, whose wife was taken away? So Menelaus, Odysseus. Who is Odysseus? Odysseus is the one who has planned all these things. And the architect of the horse also entered. Okay, then there may be some other men also. The great warriors also entered the horse. But the most important characters over here are Menelaus, Odysseus, and the architect himself. Why did the architect enter? The architect entered the horse because he is the one who knows how to shut and how to open that horse. Okay, the entrance and the exit. So he also entered. Now, that evening, what happened? The Greeks burned their tents. So, very cleverly, what did they do? They burned all their tents and they sailed away in their ships. Then they did not go very far because they were acting to do that. Actually, they were not doing, they were just acting to do. So they did not go very far. ज़्यादा दूर नहीं गए. Only one man was left behind to persuade the Trojans to drag the horse into their city. So they were acting as if all have gone, they have burned their tents and everything. Only one man was left behind. Why he was left? To persuade the Trojans. that to drag the horse into their city, so that the Trojans can drag the horse inside their city. Next day, the Trojans woke up. Next day, the Trojans woke up expecting to go out and fight as they had done for the past 10 years. So, very next day, what happened? These Trojans woke up early in the morning and they thought that today also they are going to fight. Okay, but what happened? What delight and surprise they felt at the sight they saw on the seashore outside the walls. It seemed that the long siege was over at last. The tents had been burned, the shore was deserted, the Greek ships had all gone. Now, these people, Trojans, they were delighted. They were very happy to see that all the ships of Greeks have gone and they have burned their tents, and it was as if after a long wait of 10 years, at last the city was free and all the rest of the people they have returned back. So the whole scenario just gave a message that the war was over. After a long 10 years of wait, the war was finally over, and now they can come out of the seas. But you know that this was not the real thing. They were just pretending. It's peace at last, they cried, and opened wide their gates and came out in large numbers on the plain, glad to be free again and to go where they pleased. Then they saw on the sands the huge wooden horse. They gathered round it in astonishment, for it was indeed a wonderful piece of work. Now they thought that finally we have made the peace, and now we all are free and we can go wherever we want. Okay, we can go wherever we want, and they were roaming around. So they saw the huge wooden horse, a very big wooden horse inside which the mariners, Odyssey, and the architect and other warriors were hiding, right? So they saw them and then they thought, oh, what a nice piece of art it is, isn't it? Naturally, if someone will see such a huge wooden horse, they will think that it's a great piece of architect. As they were wondering how the horse had been built and why it had been left behind, they found a Greek with his hands tied together lying under it. When the Trojans dragged him out, the man pretended to be very frightened of them. When he was commanded to tell them why the Greeks had gone and why they had left this horse behind, he pretended to tremble very much and refused to speak. So, now this whole acting was going on. You see, this was not the real thing. Actually, they were pretending, they were acting. So, this people of Trojan, now they were, they were not alert and they were not knowing what is going wrong. They just thought that the Greek people have returned back, but that was not the case. So they were just wandering around the house, to make out, just trying to figure out that how the horse has been built and why such a nice piece of art Greek people have left behind. Why they have not taken the horse with them. So they saw one man of Greek. You know that in the just in previous stanza, we have seen that they have left one man behind so that he can do the acting part as if he is very much afraid. But that was not the real case. So they saw a Greek man, his hands were tied and he was lying under, that near the horse. And when the Trojans they saw him, they just dragged him out. Drag means khichna. So they dragged him out and the man pretended. The man acted as if what? That the Greeks had, man acted as if he is very frightened, as if he is very much afraid of what is going wrong. Then these Trojans, these people, they asked him that why the Greeks have gone. And if they have gone, why have they left this horse behind? At first, this person, he pretended, he started acting as if he is very afraid, and he refused to speak anything. He said, no, I cannot tell you anything. When at last they threatened, when at last they threatened to kill him, he spoke and told them this false tale. Now he was doing the acting part. So the man acted as if he was very much, threatened, and he is very much afraid, and he is very much, he is not willing to speak. The all drama he did, and at last, when he was threatened, he started speaking. This whole was going as per the planning. All the things were going as per the planning, and he started speaking. And he started speaking the false tale, means jhuti kahani. The Greeks are tired. Now, what did he say? Let us focus on what did he say. Very important, children. The Greeks are tired of the long war and have sailed away in their ships, he said. But they are afraid of the long voyage home too, and so they have made this horse and left it as an offering to the god of the sea. They wanted also to kill me and offer me as a sacrifice to the sea god, but I escaped and hid from them. So now he is making a false tale. This person, he is saying all the false thing which he was taught. He said that the Greeks, they were tired. Tired means thak jana. So the Greeks were tired of the long war, and they just sat in the ship and they sailed away. But they were afraid of long voyage, means long journey. They were afraid of this long journey because after 10 years they are returning back to their home. That is why they have made this horse, and this great horse is an offering to the sea god. Samudra ke devta ko offering hai. Okay, like this. They said that this is an offering to the sea god. And you know what? That they have tied me, my hands are tied, and they also wanted me to sacrifice. Okay, so means they wanted me to kill and offer me to sea god. But I have hidden myself and I have saved myself. So this false story, all cooked up story, was said by this person. Now, but why did the Greeks make such a huge horse? Huge means bada. Now these people of Trojans were astonished, and they asked him, but why the Greek people have made such a big horse? Some of the Trojans asked, and the cunning Greek made this reply, if they had made a smaller offering, you might have taken it into your city. Then the luck would have gone to Trojans and not to the Greeks. That is why they made it too big to go inside your gates. So now, very cleverly, he said that, you know what, that this horse is an offering to sea god. But if they would have made it very small, then you would have taken it inside your gates. You would have taken this piece of art inside your gates. So then this offering will not be to the sea of God. No, it will be yours. That is why they have made it so big that you cannot even take this huge horse inside your gate. So now this offering will be of Greek people, and it will bring luck, good luck to the Greek people. That is why they have done this. All cooked up story, he started saying. The Trojans were delighted to hear this. The Greeks have gone, they said, and the walls are no longer necessary. Let us make a hole in the wall and drag the horse in. Now, see, the people of Trojans, they thought that the Greek people have gone, and we no longer required this great wall. So we need to drag this horse inside our city. For this, the gates will be smaller, isn't it? Because the horse is too big. So the gates are going to be small. So what should we do? We'll make a hole in the wall and we will drag this great horse inside the city. Next, what happened? Let us see. Now, their priest, their wise priest, like we say Purohit and Pandit. So there was a wise priest. He warned them not to do so. So there was a wise priest among them, and he said that you don't do this. It may be a trick that will ruin us. He said that this can be a trick and it may destroy all of us. You will bring disaster on the city if you break down the walls. But they were so excited that they paid no attention to his words. They broke down part of their strong wall in order to drag the horse in. So the horse was very big, right? It was so big that it could not be dragged or brought in without making a hole in the wall. So, just to bring the horse inside the city, they have broken the wall, and were so enthusiastic, they were so happy that they ignored what the wise priest said. The wise priest warned them that please don't do this. If you do this, you will destroy the city. You will destroy all of us. Don't do it. But the soldiers and the other people, they were so much excited that they ignored what the priest said, and they just broke the wall and dragged the horse in. All that day the Trojans feasted and drank and celebrated. After all their celebrations, they went to sleep and slept soundly. But that day of rejoicing was soon followed a night of terror and death. See what happened? Now they have broken the wall, they have brought the horse inside. And you know that inside the horse, who was hiding? The king whose wife was taken away. So he was hiding, Odyssey, the architect, and other great warriors. All of them were hiding inside the horse. So that night, the Trojans were super happy. Why they were super happy? They were happy because the Greeks have gone and they have got a nice good horse. That is why they feasted, they partied whole night, and they drank, they celebrated their victory. And after all the celebration got over, they were not at all alert, so they just slept. And they slept very soundly. They were not aware of the fact what is to be, what is going around, and what trick they have fallen a prey. Okay, so they all have fallen a prey of that trick, so they were not aware about it. So that night after the celebration, the night was followed by what? Terror, dahshat, death. Death, isn't it? Terror is dahshat. So that night was followed by the terror and death. The Greek ships had not sailed far. As soon as they were hidden by an island, they had lowered their sails and dropped anchor and waited for the night. In the darkness, the fleet sailed back, and the leading ship, which was Agamemnon's, bore a red light high on its mast. The Greek who was watching for the return of the fleet crept to the wooden horse and gave the signal. The side of the horse opened. The Greeks climbed out and opened the gates. The whole Greek army entered the sleeping city. Immediately, the Greeks set fire to the houses and towers and palaces and began to burn and kill. So, see what a disaster it was. The Greek ships had not sailed far. So, this Greek people, they were just hiding somewhere. They had not sailed far. They just went a few, little distance away, and they hid himself by an island. There must be an island, so they just hid themselves there. They lowered their anchor so that they are not seen, and they waited for the night. So they were waiting for the nightfall. Let the nightfall be there, and then they will return back. So in the darkness, the fleet sailed back. So now these people who have earlier, returned back, pretended to return back, now they had again returning to the city of the Trojans. And what happened? The Greek who were actually watching for the return of the fleet, crept to the wooden horse and gave the signal. So, the Greek people were hiding inside the great horse. The great warriors were hiding inside the great horse. So, they just, crept and they gave the signal that now the city is sleeping and you can enter the city. And the same thing happened. What happened? The side of the horse was opened, and the Greeks, they just climbed out and opened the gates. So these Greek people, they climbed out, they came out of the horse, and they have opened the gates. The whole Greek army entered the sleeping city. The whole army, they just entered the sleeping city. Who were Trojans? Trojans were the citizens of the city of Troy. Is it clear? Trojans were the people, were the citizens of the city of Troy. Like we are Indians, we are the citizens of India. Same. Got it? So now what happened? The whole Greek army entered the sleeping city, because see, these people were not alert. They have just partied, they drank, and they slept very soundly, isn't it? So they were not aware of what was going wrong. And these people who were inside the horse, they came out of the horse in the night and they opened the gate. When they opened the gate, then the other people, the Greek people, they immediately entered the sleeping city. And when they entered the sleeping city, immediately what did they do? They just set fire on to the houses, towers, palaces, everywhere. The whole city was set on fire and everything started to burn. Okay, everything started to burn. Later on, what happened? Troy was filled with the sight of leaping flames and the sound of shouting and the noise of weapons and the cries of weeping women. The sleeping Trojans sprang out of their beds, but they were taken by surprise. Their enemies were right inside their walls, and many of the Trojans were killed before they could put on their armor and seize their weapons. So the whole city was sleeping, right? So if the city was sleeping, naturally they were not alert of what is going to happen next, isn't it? So now what happened? Troy was filled with the sight of leaping flames and the sound of shouting and the noise of weapons and the cries of weeping women. Weeping means what? Rona. So women started weeping. The flames started leaping. Means what? The flames, like they have put the whole city to flames. It means the whole city started burning. And people started shouting. Bachao, bachao, like we say, no, when we are in difficult situation, we do that. The same thing started happening. And noise of weapons could be heard. The women started crying. The sleeping Trojans were amazed by the fact, they were surprised by the fact that they didn't even stand a chance to fight back, because their enemies have entered their houses, and before they can just take their weapon and fight back, they were killed. A bright light lit up in the night sky as palaces and houses, temples, towers went up in flames. Trojans fought as well as they could, but it was all in vain. Old King Priam was killed with all his brave sons. Hector's wife and his old mother and sister were carried off as slaves by the conquerors. Their fate was in contrast to Helen's. When King Menelaus rushed through the city looking for her and found her in her palace, she hung her head in shame and sorrow as she faced her former husband. Her voice was choked with emotion and she could not speak. But Menelaus forgave her and she went back with him, for it was the only Aphrodite who had turned her heart away from her home and her husband and her child. Now see what happened at last. A bright light lit up in the night sky as palaces and houses, temples and towers went up in the flames. What do you mean by this? This means the sight might be so stressing, isn't it? Because when the whole city was set on fire, naturally, the whole city, it seems that a great flame great flame seems to be in the city. Why? Because it was night time. The palace, the house, the temples, the towers, all were set in flames. The Trojans, they fought very nicely. See, they did not get any chance to fight, right? So they did not get any chance to, it means that naturally they cannot fight as well they want. They could have fighted nicely if they would have been alert and if they were knowing what is going to happen to them. If they feast and party around and bring that horse inside the city. But as they have ignored to the saying of the priest, so now they were paying back. And now what has happened? The whole city was on flame and they could not, get a chance to fight back, to take even their weapons. And they fought, still they fought as well as they want, as well as they could that time. So as far as possible they fought, but all was in vain, sab bekar tha. Why? Because they did not stand a chance now. The old king Priam, so there was a old king Priam and all his brave sons were killed during the war. Hector's wife of Hector, and old mother and sister, they all were carried as slaves. Okay, all were carried as slaves by the conqueror. So these ladies were not killed, they were rather carried away as slaves by the conquerors. Their fate is Kismet. Their fate was in contrast to Helen's. So now this Helen's, when King Menelaus rushed through the city. So now what happened? The king Menelaus, he did all this thing for whom? He did for Helen. So King Menelaus, when he just won the city of Troy, he went looking for her, and at last he found her. Where? She hung her in the palace. He found her in the palace, and after a long wait of 10 years, finally the king of Greek, he could see his wife Helen. Helen was ashamed and she hung her head in shame. Hung her head means like aise, sir jhukana. Okay, so she hung her head in shame and sorrow. So she was shameful also, and she was very sad also. So Arshad had joined, I can see. Hi Arshad, good morning. Welcome to the class. How are you? I hope you are doing good. So now what happened? So she was very no shameful for her act, and she was sorrow also because she was seeing all these things. And the long 10 years, she was taken away from her child, from her husband, so all of these things. And now finally when she was here for 10 years, now all the whole city was put to fire and people were killed. So these all things made her sorrowful. You're fine, Arshad. Okay, thanks for replying. Now what happened? But King Menelaus, he just forgave her. Okay, look here, it's written. Their fate was in contrast to Helen's when King Menelaus rushed through the city looking for her and found her in her palace. She hung her head in shame and sorrow as she faced her former husband. So when Helen saw her former husband after a long wait of 10 years, she just bowed her head like this, bow her head in shame and sorrow. Her voice was choked. Her voice was choked means what? आवाज रुक सी गई थी. Okay. Maybe her throat was choked. Naturally, she might not be knowing what to say now. with emotion, and she could not speak. So maybe it was as if a great feeling of, astonishment, surprise, shameful, so many emotions together, so she could not speak. Maybe she wanted to cry, but she didn't. But Menelaus forgave her. So now here Menelaus forgave her for her deed, and she went back with him. For it was the only Aphrodite who had turned her heart away from her home and her husband and her child. Now she was left with this option only, isn't it? So he returned back with Menelaus. He returned back. She returned back to her husband and to her children. When morning came, nothing was left of the proud rich city that had resisted attack for 10 years. So when next morning there was nothing left which the city should be proud of, because everything was burned to fire. So nothing was left, and the whole city was burned to fire. Okay, with this we have come to an end of the chapter. I suppose that the chapter was very interesting, and see children, I'll not be able to discuss all the question and answers. As far as possible, I have tried to explain the chapter to you. Whether you're watching this video live or recorded, I suggest you that please take up the plus classes so that you can come over there and I can explain you the whole chapter, every inch of the chapter, because the chapter is very long. It contains almost 2 parts, right? So it contains 2 parts which cannot be explained in just 1 hour. But still I have managed to explain the whole chapter. If you take up the plus classes, I will get little more time with you and I can explain the whole chapter as well as the meanings and the important questions which can come in the exam. So just now I have explained the skeleton of the chapter, but the in-depth knowledge of the chapter, every inch of the chapter cannot be explained in just 1 hour. Therefore, I request you to please take the plus subscription. And what more you can do is, you can use the code Manpreet10. It is there flashing on your screen in the red box. You can see it's Manpreet10. Okay, so use this code and you can unlock the special classes. What more, you can see live quiz. And how can you I'll just discuss the steps to join the quiz. You can see when you download the learners app of Unacademy, your screen will be somewhat like this: English, Hindi, mathematics, science and social science. So now see steps to join the quiz. Step 1. Search the Unacademy learning app in the Google Play or App Store and download it. So first what you have to do, just Sudhir had joined. Hi Sudhir Dubey. Good morning. Welcome to the class. So Sudhir, I was just going through how to download and how to get access to live quizzes and all that. So you can just listen. Steps to join the quiz. How to join the quiz? First, you will search for the Unacademy learning app. Download it from App Store. Okay, Google Play Store or App Store, anyway. Then you log in inside the app. Okay, log in the app and select your goal. Select the menu option on the top left corner and select plus. Then what you have to do? Search for menu option. Now search for menu option and on the top left corner you can go and select the plus. Select the label test in the tab at the bottom of the screen and then click the option join quiz and enter the code. So you will have to enter one code. Okay, if you want to enter with my code, then my code is Manpreet10. It's capital M, thereby small a and PREET 10. So you can just apply this code and you will get access to the quiz. Now you can see English, Hindi, Math, Science, Social Science, so many quizzes are there. So it's your wish what you're joining. And you can download the Unacademy Learner app to participate in the quiz. And I am just flashing my code again and again on the screen so that you can use it. Okay. So, and when you take up the plus classes, this is going to really help you. How you know? Because the code which you apply, it will not only give give you the access to free classes, but if you want to take up the plus classes, it will also give you 10% discount. Okay. So this code is really going to help you out. And this, remember that this is not about me, this is about you. Okay, so Dheer, you are in class 9 or 10? 9, I guess. Are you in standard 9? If you are in standard 9, you know that I am taking your classes every day from 2:30 to 3:30 and grammar classes from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Do attend my classes. Okay? If you have not taken the plus subscription, I am telling the steps to do it. And Sudhir, what you can do is, if you want to take the plus subscription, it's okay. And if you want to get access to my free live classes, only you have to do is download the Unacademy Learner app and use this code Manpreet10. You will get access to my free special classes. And if you like it, then you can take the plus classes. And if you straight want to take the plus classes, then you can get it with 10% discount also. So now here, let's go to next. Here, this one. Now I'll just introduce plus subscription plans. Okay, I'll introduce plus subscription plans to you all. You see here, live classes for all subjects daily. Okay, for all classes daily, how to do that? You can see 1 month subscription if you take, it is 2,500. 3 months if you take, it is 6,500. 6 months if you take, then it will come to 10,000. And if you go for 12 months, it will cost you 15,000, whereas 24 months will cost you 25,000. Now, if I break up this one, see, 2,500. If you go for 1 month, then 1 month will cost you around 2,500. Whereas if you take the subscription for 3 months, it is going to cost you 2,167 per month. And if you take the subscription for 6 months, it will cost you 1,667. 12-month subscription will help you to get your subscription lowered as low as 1,250 per month. And if you go for 24 months, then it's a superb idea to get, because your monthly payment will go as low as 1,042 per month. Suppose you are in standard 9 and you take up the subscription now, then don't you think that for the next coming 2 years you will be amazed to have this? So if you want, I will just recommend either go for 6 month, 12 month or 24. I think these are the best plans to go with. And we are done with the chapter, so I'll just introduce few of the things to you over here, that you can download first learners app of Unacademy and subscribe to class 9 and 10. You know what will you get? You will get live classes for all subjects and you will get it daily. You will get access to weekly quiz. You will have doubt clearing classes, practice questions, test series, and the end of each course, every educator provides you with the mega quiz. Okay, so I think this is the best platform where you can achieve all these things. Okay, and if you want to just give a try and see me teaching on special classes, then download the Unacademy's Learners app and use my code Manpreet10 so that you get access to my free special classes. With this, we end the class over here. Thank you all and bye. I wish the day ahead is good for you.